done. Love you guys. Are we coming home?
I'm taking your car.
The deceased is one gang member connected to the Russians.
There's been a bit of a mix-up. I've ended up with something that belongs to some pretty dangerous guys.
We have some business to discuss.
Where is my money?
We don't have your money.
But we know who does.
There is.
So who is this fucking guy?
He's ex-military.
I'm gonna fix this.
You understand? That's not our money. These Russians will kill your family.
Don't you talk about my family.
Jake Ryan, how are you?
Hey, John. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you. What's that?
You're a Punisher fan, I see.
Yeah, listen, I wore this for you. You're like the Australian Punisher in this movie. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wear some skull for you. So it's like
It's a dream role. I'd love to play a version of the Punisher. I think he's my favorite in that world. So
absolutely. Listen, I'm a fan of yours, man. You're carving out a nice little action star niche for yourself in your filmography arsenal. So like, I'm a big fan of yours.
Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah, I love doing the action stuff, man. My body doesn't hold up like it used to.
Yeah.
You know, I think I'm about 25, and I forget that I'm 42 now. But you know, I just love playing in that world, man. It's so much fun. It's so collaborative. You know, I get to use my years that I had as an athlete fighting. I could bring them into what I'm doing now. I love working with stunties, you know, and fight choreography guy. Yeah, it's just fun, man. It's like it's like playing cowboys and Indians when you're a kid. Like, you're just doing that as an adult, and someone's somehow paying you. It's ridiculous, you know. But I love it. I'd love to be doing more of it, you know.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You know, I mean, the only guys, Blair, who we made Badlands with, we've got another one that's about to go into pre-production, which is, you know, very, very fight and stunt heavy again. So, you know, we'll be sort of doing one a year at least with those guys until something. Hopefully, it'd be great to get on something bigger one day in that world, but we'll see. You know, if it's just the Aussie indie scene, I'm still happy doing that.
And I wanted to talk to you too, because Australia, you know, obviously when people think of action, you know, cinema, they think of Hong Kong, even Indonesia now, you know, yeah. Korea, Australia, like you guys are like starting to like carve your own little path in terms of action. Like I've interviewed somebody you might know, Brent Foster, several times. Yeah. So
Brent's out there doing his own thing, which is awesome. Like, you know, making his own films, he's writing them, directing. You know, he's quite incredible what he's sort of accomplishing on his own. But then he goes and does the big stuff as well. And he's a very fit, strong man. I think my kind of action guy is, probably the reluctant action guy who doesn't really want to, which I like. It sort of fits. That's my lane of it. I mean, yeah, different kind of action guys, but that maybe there's something. I spoke to Brent actually not long ago about doing something. So maybe down the track we'll have both of us doing. He can be all ripped and take his top off and do all the flying kicks, and I can just get down and punch on like a grizzly bear.
Exactly. Like, because Life After Fighting, like that I picked that like my favorite action movie of the year when that came out.
He did a pretty good job with that. I mean, he rang me and he's like, "Oh, I've got this guy. I want you to come and if we do a prequel of it, or a sequel, you'll see these two will come out together. So maybe, you know, if Bren's probably got a few things on, hopefully one day they'll, you know, they might tackle the next part of life after fighting, because that was the idea that, you know, I come and do that little cameo in this one, and then one further down the track, they team up, you know, and two very different styles of action. But I think they'd be they could do some damage together, those boys.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about Badland Rising. Okay, so here's the thing. I always make a joke. Okay, so like bad guys, I always like villains, like somebody of a nefarious nature. If you're ever gonna pick a fight with somebody, make sure that they're not an ex-special forces badass or a shit kicker, because it's like I love these movies where they're just like, you know what, we're gonna pick on this guy, you know, and it's just like it never goes well. So let's talk about Badland Rising. I love how the synopsis, a bloke, they call you a bloke. The bloke is just on his way he just wants to get home to his family, and then of course that doesn't happen because, you know, all this bad shit happens and like stuff, people start getting shot and everything. So let's talk about this and how, and Blair Moore, who directed it, you've worked with people, obviously you guys have a relationship together. So let's talk about the culmination and the creation of this movie and how it came about.
Look, I made Kane with Blair with COVID. He just had this idea to shoot something with a bunch of mates, basically, never intending to release it or anything. It was more of a test run of like, oh, let's try this, building up to, you know, other films that we have, you know, in various stages of development. And that kind of went all right. Like, it wasn't the greatest thing that was ever made. You know, there's a lot of holes in the story, and, you know, it was on a very low budget, but it sort of, for me anyway, it sort of showed me enough of like, oh, Blair's got something here, and, you know, and for some reason he likes working with me and keeps giving me these roles, and which, you know, and he's so collaborative. And then he came up with this idea for Badland, and I was like, yeah, this would be fun. Let's start building a team together to make this. And you know, it was shot for bugger all. It was, you know, we're building a really good team now, guys. We've got this Guerilla Entertainment who do all the stunts and stuff. Mm-hmm. They're sort of coming on board all of our projects that we do together now, and we develop them together. So, you know, we've got another one coming up in shooting on the Gold Coast in about 8 weeks that we've been developing with these guys. So you kind of build and write your story around like, hey, what stunts do we want to do? What crazy shit do you guys want to get up to? You know, we'll flip some cars here and, you know, bring a tanker through a wall here or whatever. So, you know, like, and this action world's ridiculous. You can't take it too serious. And, you know, if we can inject some, you know, the drama, like the truth and some heartfelt, you know, stuff inside there, it's, you know, it becomes a lot more watchable and relatable to everyone. But, you know, still trying to, you know, pull off what we can stunt-wise that's in real time too. There's no CGI, there's no AI, there's no wires, there's no trickery. It's like, yeah, we're just going to do it old school, you know, the way they used to do it in the 70s and 80s and early 90s. So it's been really fun, and I'm really excited. I think Blair is learning so much, and, you know, that was his second film. Whether it, you know, not second film completely. What I love about Blair is he just goes, I want to make a film, and he wasn't wasting his time doing short films, which is not, I love short films. I've done a heap of them and I still do them. I think they're fantastic and they're a great learning ground for learning. But, you know, Blair's gone in and punched out 2 features. Now he's got 1 in pre-production. And he's learning as he goes, and we're learning to do it all together. But it's exciting to have someone that's, you know, has my back and that I have his back, that we can do these things together, because, you know, no one's offering you big, you know, leading action roles.
Yeah. But here's the thing: independent action cinema. And I hate when sometimes people hear independent and it kind of has a negative connotation for a lot of people, which is so far from the truth. But like, it's in the action that's keeping it practical and old school, like I used to love, and a lot of people like me used to love back in the day. Now let's talk. You mentioned the action, so like. And we mentioned Brent Foster, you know, obviously he's like jumping around it. Your action, grounded, visceral, practical, brutal. Listen, you like, there's a lot I love because this is like not the first film where it shows you, the camera with you punching out the guy when he's on the ground. Yeah, I love that image, by the way. But let's talk about creating the action sequences. And you mentioned the stunt team and everything. So how did you already have the idea? Hey, this is like, because there are a few stunts where you're just kind of like, ooh, because it's not just all grounded there, because there's a few moves you got in there too. So let's talk about putting that together.
Yeah, I mean, we've got this Guerrilla Entertainment. There's some old school like stunt legends in there. Johnny Walton, Scott Morris, Leon Strip. These guys that have been they've been like doing it for 20, 30 years. And, they live up in the Gold Coast, up where we've been making them. And they're just, they've got teams of stunt guys that they're sort of training and that they work with. And, I think that they're enjoying it as much as we are, because they get to go, hey, we get to, no one gives them a script and goes, hey, what do you guys want to do with this? What do you want to try that you guys, and to give all their young stunt guys the experience to do that on a film set, which you're not necessarily going to get. So like to have it's a pretty rare combo that we've got, but it's working. And this, we'll be trying to punch out a film at least a year with these guys. Yes, and on this, when you're doing it on this level too, like you've to have it. It needs to be a big collaborative effort. You need to have trust in each other. You don't have a lot of time. You might get one shot at a lot of this stuff. So, we don't have the budgets to just keep going crashing cars until you find the right one. Or there's a lot of prep involved in it, especially some of those fight scenes and stuff. We sort of, you put a lot of work into those, so they're ready to go on the day. But, but even like, there's also, when you've got a good group of people that you're working with and you can adapt easily if something happens. Like we had some weather issues, I think, with the fight that's on the train. So that was never planned to be on the train. It was just shit. We need to get out of the weather. There's an abandoned train right there. Maybe we can go and shoot in there. Like, it's completely not, safety wise, I think it would have been shut down. But it was just, when you've got a good bunch of guys that you're working with and you have good relationships, you adapt together. So, and we just jumped inside the train and moved the fight around a little bit, choreo of it, so it would fit in a train. But I think it came up pretty cool.
Absolutely. So again, and I talked to a lot of like independent action filmmakers and stuff like that. And what impresses me, and like why I give you guys such bad props, is what you guys can do with such little means and time. So like we all know big budget movies, like they because I've talked to like Scott Adkins, a bunch of times. He's like, I had 2 days, or he's thrilled if he gets like 5 hours, and stuff like that. Here, like Disney's doing 2 weeks and stuff. But it's great to see that you guys, because you guys are so talented and you love what you're doing and you care about it, and that's what comes across, because with the limited time and means that you have, you're still able to create this visceral action that is on par with anything else you would see, anywhere else.
Yeah, and I think that's credit to, Blair as a filmmaker too, of like, he has a vision of what he's got a pretty clear idea of what he wants things to sort of be, but he also hands them over, like, he's collaborative, that he will hand certain sequences and fight things over to Johnny directed some of the fight scenes, and so just to have that no ego attachment to it, where you're like, when you've got all these, got so much experience from these guys, and to give them free reign too, which they don't get very often. I mean, it's, I think we've just got a good mix of people here that all love working with each other and trust each other. So, and you know what? It's fun doing it this way. It's more hands-on. You could make it bigger and better with CGI and special effects and stuff, but I can guarantee you it's nowhere near as fun to do.
Right? Yes. Yeah. Now let's talk about.
But
absolutely.
This is just like a bunch of kids that haven't grown up, that just want to roll cars and throw people through windows and stuff,
I totally get it. Now let's talk about the story. Now, of course, you play Dave, the bloke, and again, I love like the reluctant hero. Like you're not looking to become like you just want to get home. Like I said, this movie is it's the plot's simple. You want to get home to your family. Like and for whatever means or whatever reason, you get mixed up in like all this bad stuff and stuff like that. So talk about the story and like playing this reluctant hero, and and because you got to care about you. If you don't care about Dave, it's like it doesn't matter like how many guys you're punching or shooting at the end of the day, right?
Exactly, and it's sort of I mean, I guess I'm hoping he's relatable to people. Like, he's just a normal bloke out there, happens to be very well trained and
that's
himself and pile of bodies, But I mean, at the heart of it, he's just a hardworking man who wants to do well for his family, and he's got to work away, which sucks, and it's time away from your family, which I'm sort of going through at the moment. I'm away on a couple of films, and I have my family for a little bit, and it kills me. And it's sort of but I think it's relatable. There's a lot of people in Australia sort of doing FIFO, mining work, and a lot of people commute because when you've got bills and mortgages and kids to feed, you got to do what you got to do to provide for them. And he just wants a simple life. He just wants to get out of the city, which I live quite rural now. And he just wants to provide for his family and be with his family. But you've got to deal with one dickhead after another dickhead after another scenario, and it's just I don't know how to be. I think just trying to make him as just the more he doesn't want to be involved in it, I think the more relatable he is. Like, the film would be very different if he was, actively seeking out the action and the drama. The fact that he just doesn't want anything to do with it, and it just keeps coming and falling in his lap. And he happens to be very good at violence, so he deals with it and then tries to move on and put it past him, and then it comes,
And exactly, and that's like I mentioned earlier. It's like they was like on this guy, and it's just like do your homework next time. It's like make sure plus you're a big dude. It's like if I saw you, I'd be like, you know what, I'm probably gonna pass this guy and go for that guy. It's just because it's like you look like you don't want to be messed around with. It's like, but no, it's a movie, so like these guys are gonna mess around.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's got to be like, especially with this sort of stuff, this the action world of that. There's got to be a part of reality that you kind of let go. Like, I remember when I was starting to get concerned about all these bodies piling up, and like, wouldn't there be every police in New South Wales be here? And how can I get away? And he, Blair would come remind me, he's like, dude, it's an action film. It's cool. Like
if the cops showed up, we wouldn't want to. Yeah, we want to watch.
Yeah,
it's like, no cops. Yeah.
Which is funny because you want to detach yourself to an extent of the reality of the situation, but then you also want to give as truthful, dramatic performances about the situation, as you can. Which I think we tried to do, and I think Paul comes off in some places, So, and that's kind of like. That, I mean, that's where its flavour lies as well. I think with this is that, there are some quite nice sort of, dramatic moments that are taken seriously and, and set in a world of truth in this ridiculous situation that's going on with bodies piling up everywhere. And, people seem to be getting away with it, and like there's no repercussions, and so finding that kind of the balance between ridiculous and truth, I think was kind of cool. And I hope that we've sort of achieved it somewhere. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's entertainment. It was a bit of fun, and I hope people get to watch it, and I hope people enjoy it.
Well, listen, I'll do my best.
We'll do a Badland too. People like it. We've got another one sitting there that we've been working on. So. We'd like to bring Dave back. Reluctantly comes back into the folly and goes again. So it'd be a lot of fun to do another one. in that
Listen,
world. With
you could do it the opposite way. Instead of him trying to get back from the job, now he's off to a job, and he gets and something happens.
Yeah, that's not too similar. The ideas that we've been playing around with, it's along those lines. But we'll see.
Absolutely.
I'd love to do another one, but we'll see.
Well, true, and again, like I said, and that's why I love like people like yourselves and like Blair Moore and filmmakers like yourselves and stuff like that, and like keeping it old school. Because I'm a product of the '80s. I'm old. I'm 53, so it's like I grew up. I've seen a lot of action movies in my day, and like when I could sit down and watch a movie, and I'm like, you know what, that was kick ass. That was cool. Then you did the job, and all I can say is this does the job. Like if you want to see practical, old school, kick-ass, no-nonsense action, that's what you deliver, sir.
It's huge, man. I mean, like, CGI and AI, it's all boring, man. You can, people want to see real bone crunching and,
right.
Real blood, sweat, and tears, so.
Absolutely. All right, you got you for one more minute.
All right, dude.
So one more question for me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? One more question.
Yeah.
So, what do you want people to get out of this? So like because obviously it's coming out now. So like I said, I pumped it out. Now you pump it up. What do you want people to get out of it?
I let people to enjoy it. Grab some popcorn, sit in a movie or sit at home. Just go on the ride and enjoy, have a bit of fun. I think people might be they might experience something they weren't expecting with this as well, which is nice where it goes. But yeah, it's a hell of a ride, and it's a good bit of entertainment. So I just want people to enjoy it, and if they like it, we can make more of these films, and if we get these out there and people are enjoying them, we can keep punching these Aussie action films out more and more. We've got one coming up in 6 weeks. It's in pre-production with Blair again, which is a really cool, exciting one, and we've got a list of other ones that we want to get going. So yeah, if people watch and enjoy them, we can keep making them.
Absolutely. It's like that.
Bigger and bigger and better every time. More,
Right. And like I said, Australia, you're putting it on the map in terms of action. So that it's great. Like, so again, continued success, and hopefully we talk again in the future when the next big one comes around.
Beautiful. Thanks, mate. I appreciate you.
All right. Have a good one.